And we have
And
officially started.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of Sweaty Casuals. Title:
I hate it already.
Werewolves and Lederhosen. Today's panel, in alphabetic order, we have Fantastic Funky. We have, who's not with us today, Xenophobic Zion, who unfortunately was attacked by a gang of Gaglin ducks.
No. I know
Yes,
why.
that's what I heard. That is
No,
what I heard.
see. I know why he's really not here.
Why is he
Okay.
really not here?
New Warhammer minis released. So
Okay.
I mean,
Well, it's just
the migraine might be fair as well, but let's be honest. You know, he's
moving
busy.
on.
So it's got to be Warhammer.
Moving on. If his condition improves, we'll let you know. We have Garglin Ganon. And finally, the man, the myth, the legend, King Koshi. Now, before we begin,
No.
before we begin, Funky said he had something he wanted to tell the group and
Oh,
the millions at home. Funky,
no,
go ahead.
Oh, he's finally coming out.
yeah. Oh, okay. Out of what? Out of rehab?
Your mother,
Uh,
after she
no,
unbirthed you.
no. We're not all born in Newcastle.
What?
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 So I played Kingdom 80s
What?
Monday. Yeah, exactly. And you call yourself a real gamer. It's has some nice improvements. It has some changes that I'm not they're not bad, but I'm not a particular fan of because they kind of push you into one style of playing. So it's a bit of a hit and miss, but mostly hit. But it's also a $10 game, so you know. I had my fun with it, but the Viking DLC for Kingdom of the Two Crowns is better, I would say. Is that what you wanted me to talk about, Koshi, or since you just
That was
randomly
great.
decided that? Yeah.
Everyone loved it.
Yep.
I'm getting my board is going up right now. It's getting all red lights. People
Okay.
seem to like it.
Are you sure that's not your are you sure that's not your tread assessment?
Well, hold on. It could be. We'll just ignore it for now.
Yeah.
Wait, is red bad or is green bad? I forget which.
Yes.
All right, we're screwed. Moving on. I'm just gonna ignore that. Just turn it off. So let's get into the meat of it then. Funky, what happened to you over the week? What great games did you play? Movies did you see? Did you save any lives?
I mean, I saved lives by making cannolis that everybody liked, and I tried my hands at caramel for the first time, and people liked that as well. And I made madeleines like usual, as you do.
Wasn't caramel just one of
Why
those
not?
things that's an absolute bitch to try and make? Because it's so easy to burn it.
Uh, I followed the instructions pretty well, and it turned out right. But I feel like I already used a little bit too much butter, and then I greased the thing that I did it in with too much butter, so it's just a little bit. I've gotten rid of most of it, and it tastes like caramel and anything, but it just has like that little bit of shine of it, like the butter has that little bit of a shine, so it has that going for it. But it tastes fine otherwise. Good first attempt. It's mostly just knowing when you can stir and when not to stir, and making sure you don't get it on you because it's like sugar lava. So you don't
Sugar
want to.
lava.
You don't know. There's like, obviously this isn't the one, but there's literally a type of sugar that you prepare for certain things, but this is more like a hand candy and everything like that. And if you drop it, it burns through your hand.
What the fuck?
So that's a kind of caramel you can make to have fun with, sugary goodness. So that's why caramel is referred to as lava, and it kind of looks like lava. Uh, so that was fun. Had a barbecue, the first one of the year. That was fun. But then gaming wise, yeah, like I said, Kingdom of the 80s is what I've played. I've started playing Witcher 3 again a little bit, but on and off.
Why?
And mostly just watched Extraction 2, which was a really fun action romp with where you don't have to think. The dialogue, there's a little bit of two characters in there that they try to make you feel emotions for, but you're just there to watch people getting shot and cool action, so it's fine that it's there, but you don't really give a shit about it. Definitely recommend watch it.
Okay,
That's
and
about it.
It sounds
how
like
about
porn.
you? How about you, Gannon?
It sounds like porn. You're not really there for the plot. You're just there to watch people get shot.
What? Dude, porn has some of the most fun plots ever.
Sure. Your pizza's ready. There we go.
No, it's watching them go, especially like the like parodies. It's watching them go. Right, how you can take this situation, which should have like no sexual tension at all, and how can you turn this into suddenly we're fucking,
Just
and then the fucking happens, and then you skip to the next scene, so you can see the story again, seeing how ridiculous they go with the next plot.
I mean, do you really? This is the funny thing. Do you really need a plot for a porno? Why
Yes.
did they
Of
even
course.
bother to start
Of
doing that?
course,
No, you need a plot.
Can the plot not just be, hey, we're horny, let's fuck?
You got to build immersion.
that's amateur.
All right.
That's
That's
amateur.
an amateur. That is how it happens in reality.
Oh yeah, that is how it happens. Hey, let's fuck.
I mean,
Look,
Two
look,
random strangers say, "Let's fuck." Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely not gonna get you arrested or slapped or anything
oh,
like
well,
that.
you could be at a bar or something. I don't know.
See, we're already creating a story.
That's not a story. It's just things people do.
It's a story setting.
It's not okay, but a plot. Just because it's a setting doesn't mean it's a plot.
all right, look.
Yeah, let's hear to the master.
All right, look.
All right,
look.
the porn master. Go on.
All right. No, that's definitely your title. I'm just the jester.
What did he say? Tight hole or title?
Oh god, damn it!
Uh,
Nothing tight about my hole, baby.
plot is loose in porn, and it's a fact. We all know that. It's even jokeable, but they do that sort of.
What?
But they kind of do that on purpose because you have to have enough of a plot to build the fantasy so that when you do get to the sex scene, even if it's just a simple thing as a guy coming over to fix a woman's washing machine, and in 3 minutes they're banging in the laundry room, it's enough to build the fantasy so that when you get to the banging, it has a little more feeling when you're watching it, and people tend to find those scenes hotter because they didn't just jump right into it. Then you have like in the old school those 4-hour VHS tapes or DVDs, 4 hours of nothing but straight gangbangs, where it goes from one scene to the next. There's no plot, there's no nothing. Those movies tend to sell less because yeah, they have more action, but you can only see the same shot so many times. You need that little levity, if you will, breath of fresh air to
It's like
let
you're watching an entire movie full of action. Like you need some time to breathe.
exactly. And that's why plot, but they're also not going to give you like a James Bond plot with uh straight up sex scenes. They're gonna make it simple and easy to digest even for the most idiotic people out there whose IQ is smaller than their shoe size.
So
It's gonna
so the
be
people who still buy porn, basically.
yeah, and yeah, pretty much. But really that's what it comes down to is you need porn in a plot because they tend to sell more. And they can also help build the fantasy up even more stronger. Like,
Franchise.
you have those like mommy videos where the mommy is, like taking
Mommy.
care of their son. It's not actual incest. It's like, how a woman will call you daddy when you spank her or something. It's playful. But when you have those moments before or during the action, it makes the action hotter. So
Does it though? I don't know.
for
I
me,
do
no.
feel like
I'm gonna be
For me,
honest.
no.
I have never ever seen the appeal of like that sort of like high production porn stuff where they've got the plot and it's just everything's clean and and
you know why that is. That's
weirdly
because
bright.
that's because they're terrible at setting up the sequel. So you're not interested in like afterwards. You're just like, yeah, okay, but what happens to the story? Like they just leave you hanging. That's why you're not interested. Right?
Well,
Okay, this
you
was the first date, but what happens on the second date? Like, are they still together? Like,
I mean, there's a lot of movies out there where they try to look professional and they have some actual story content going,
Yeah,
and
well,
it can
the
get
first one that
pretty.
jumped to mind is a movie called Pirates. Pirates XXX or some bullshit. It's probably called. But that
Yeah, but
basically that
that's
was
more
like
of a
a
playful take, though.
yeah, but that was them attempting like a big budget kind of like porno with like an actual plot, and it had a little like a couple of action
well, I mean,
scenes thrown
it
in.
Well,
makes more than a
if you want
movie
to
in this
if you want
It
to
movie.
had
if you want to go that
CGI
route,
and
the
like
first film I
crap like
think of
that.
is Caligula.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah,
Really?
but that wasn't
Yeah.
really like.
I know it
I mean,
wasn't a
it was
porn
very
to begin
raunchy.
with,
Yeah,
but I mean, because they filmed they had actual actors in the film, like
yeah.
what's his face from
McDowell, isn't
uh,
it, or
the
something like that?
Clockwork Orange?
Yeah,
What is his name?
I don't know.
isn't it
Right on
McDowell
the tip of my
something?
tongue. He's a famous
Yeah.
actor. I can't believe I'm saying this much because I'm waiting for one of you fuckers to jump in with the name. But
We don't know
I've
his
clearly,
name.
already given.
none of
I've
you are
already
gonna do it.
literally asked you 2 times if it was McDowell something.
I did not hear you. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't hear you those 2 fucking times. All right.
I forgive you.
No, you don't. You're just gonna continue being you. Uh,
Well, thank
yes,
you.
it is. It's
I'll take that as a compliment.
you really shouldn't.
Like this.
You're right. It's Malcolm McDowell. They had
Hey,
actual stars in the film, so they filmed all the porn scenes in a separate studio and then interlaced them into the film. But yeah, it's probably one of the first where they actually had an actual story. It was an actual, you know, movie you would see on the big screen from Hollywood. But then when the actor left the stage, boom, 2 girls making out, you know, X-rated style. So, and
and
it's weird. It's weird because like who are these? This is why I don't understand love scenes. All right, I do not understand love scenes. Maybe
BioWare
one of you
definitely
two,
doesn't either.
maybe one of you two can explain it to me. All right, what is the purpose of lovemaking scenes? When you sit down to watch a movie, let's take Basic Instinct for example. All right, big film when it came out, starring Michael Douglas and it was Sharon Stone? Yeah, Sharon
Yeah,
Stone.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, she did the iconic vagina
Leg
shot
flip.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she crossed her legs or
That's
uncrossed them.
also a way. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so through that, the film is what was it, a murder mystery if I remember right, and
Yeah.
it's almost a thriller. It's
It
like
definitely is a
hardcore
thriller.
drama slash acting, but go they wanted to push the envelope with the sex scenes, and I sit there and wonder, like, who is this for? Like, at 1 minute you have me running through my mind, like freaking out because the main character is about to be killed, he's being chased, or the damsel in distress is being chased, and you don't know if they're gonna make it. But then the next scene, are you trying to give me an erection? And I'm supposed to look at this completely different stranger next to me in the theater,
Like
and both of us wink at each other, and go, "Yeah, you got an erection too? Because I got one. This movie's doing it. All right, let's get back to the movie."
and then, but
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. No.
what are the point?
Right.
Like, I understand if they have a scene where 2 people kiss because they're showing that they're in love, but why go that far?
I mean, I think.
the
I mean,
fucking
I
mental
think.
image
I
of
mean, I
you
see your
sitting
point,
in a fucking
but,
movie
but like,
cinema.
if you're getting a sippy from that, okay, then
Well,
yeah,
that's the
sure.
whole point of it, though, is to
Yeah.
arouse you.
No, I
Maybe I'm
no,
exaggerating,
yeah.
but like, what's the point of watching 2 actors bang each other on a kitchen table for 35,
Like
40
I'm
seconds?
sure if you were to ask the director why, they'd probably have some sort of like like
Because I'm
artistic.
an artiste.
Yeah,
No,
like there'll be
it's
some sort of artistic elements that they're trying to get across, but it doesn't always
it's.
work.
I
You
know it
know?
usually doesn't, but it's to show that they had that special night and everything like that. And it's also for
it's
the entire staff to perv on it, because it's like, yeah, okay, now get
it's
undressed while
probably supposed to
there's
be
15
like
people looking at you.
I think Funky's kind of right. It's like it's supposed to put more emphasis on the moment of it, maybe.
Yeah.
But like you are right that some movies have these sex scenes, and you really just sit there thinking this has like no impact to what's going on at all. This is literally just pointless sex at this point. Whereas I could see a movie kind of like, for example,
Like, I feel like
if they're trying to show,
if
if it's like a darker movie and they're trying to show like a forced scene, then they can say that it's you're being shown it for the shock value. It's like sending a message. It's supposed to be like this horrible thing happened. Watch this because it's impactful.
Yeah.
But like an action movie with guns, like you wouldn't want to see a sex scene in a Top Gun movie. Like it wouldn't make sense.
And yet they sort of had one.
Right, exactly. Like
I mean, they didn't really have a.
No,
Well,
but I think
they didn't get naked, but they were basically making out on the bed, and it was an extended
Yeah,
scene.
but
They could have just alluded to it like the next day. Hey, you spent the night. Thank
no,
you.
but it's more.
It's like
that was more a setup for him to have to leave and then watch the daughter.
Well, we could have
downstairs.
got
That's
that.
more
We
a
could have got
setup.
that same thing without the sex scene.
But we didn't get a sex
What about
scene.
this?
There wasn't.
Hold on. What about the James Bond movies? Because they have sex
Wait a
scenes
minute.
in them.
Wait a minute. Hold on. That's different, though. Hold on. That's different. First off, Funky, you're talking about two. I'm actually talking about one. With
Okay. Fair
they
enough.
do that because they want to show off Tom Cruise's body to all the women watching.
Yeah. Okay. No, fair enough. I thought we were talking about two.
But then, like again, I ask, like, okay, so women I can sort of understand because they're
that's
more
women
because
candy
because like
or gay candy.
some of the biggest
depending on-
fans for Supernatural were women because they enjoyed the two hunks on screen. All right.
Same with Thor and Chris Hemsworth.
It was the same thing with Doctor Who. They had their biggest ratings when
pretty
David
much,
Tennant
yeah.
took over because David Tennant was a heartthrob. And Matt
What?
Smith sort of was. A lot of people carried it over with
Yeah,
Matt
it
Smith.
did. Definitely. Matt Smith definitely has his own like little
Yeah.
heartthrob audience
Yeah.
as
But
well.
when
He's
Capaldi took
he's like
over,
ugly sexy, or what do they call it?
when Capaldi took over, a lot of those same fans left because they weren't so much interested in the character or the stories. They were interested in the heartthrob on the screen.
Yeah.
Same thing with Titanic. When that came out, people were watching it. Women were watching it for the love story, for DiCaprio. But so I mean, I get it. Sex sells. I get that. But when it's like sharing stuff, when it was for the guys though, it's different because for the guys, we're not going to sit there and watch like. We're not going to invest it in a character because it's a female. We're gonna watch them,
But
and we're gonna be like, oh, nice titties. I like this. Let's see them.
Yeah.
All right, but then
No.
we're gonna move on.
but
We don't.
and in the case of Dangerous Beauty, I believe it's called, it kind of makes sense because she is playing a femme fatale, so sex is kind of
Yeah, that's
part of her way
character.
to influence
Yeah.
people. So in that, it's still as awkward. Well, I guess not as awkward as like a BioWare love scene where you're just like, okay, yeah, whatever. What is this supposed to do something for me? But where you're just waiting for it to be over and not cringe anymore. But most of the time, it is still relatively cringy, except that it's real people, so you might indeed go like, hey, and that's about where it ends.
All right.
But
What about
and all you really want out of a sex scene in the average movie is to not have it show up when you're watching it with your parents.
Okay, so
True.
all right. So take a movie like let's take the other. See, here's the problem. For every film you mentioned where they do a sex scene right, I can name 100 more.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
That
I'm
don't.
not disagreeing. You're just
I know.
the example you're using is one that kind of that I can kind of make sense of.
I know. I get that. But what my point is, though, and it's not. I'm not trying to contradict you. You are right. But what I'm saying is that generally, overall, sex scenes in movies are geared towards the guy. And what is the guy supposed to get out of this when they're watching it? Like, take Sliver, for example. All right, the film is about a woman who moves into an apartment, played by Kim Basinger. The landlord, I forget his name. He's one of the Baldwin brothers. I forget which one it is. In case you guys don't know this film, called Sliver, Sliver. All right. It turns out that this guy is a big like voyeur. He's got all the apartments wired up to this super expensive at the time, super expensive electronic surveillance system where he can look into your apartment and he can watch you. And he uses that to learn about Kim. I keep saying Kim Basinger. I'm sorry, it's not Kim Basinger. It's Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone was in
Again,
Basic
Sharon
Instinct with
Stone.
Michael Douglas,
Yeah.
and she's the one who's in this. Sharon Stone.
Basic Instinct, that was it. Yeah.
So the point of the story is that he uses this information to date her, and they have these raunchy sex scenes for her at the time, raunchy sex scenes throughout the film, but it really becomes a thriller because she finds out who he is and what he's doing, and then she tries to escape him. But it's like, okay, well, they can get the same effect. They can get the same effect of their relationship without having to show the sexy, raunchy scenes. But they do it anyway because if you think about it, the film sucks. The film's
Right.
plot is boring as shit. So the only thing that's selling that movie is Kim Basinger topless, simulated
No.
riding this guy.
But I think that's also a product of its era when it was harder to get, harder with porn.
All right, well then here, let
I think
me
in
let me
these
answer
days,
that
you know, it's
because that
I feel
was
like you see him less as well.
all right. So then how about the film uh, Blue is the Warmest Color? All right,
Don't know.
it's a
Don't know.
film about what film I'm talking about, Gannon?
No.
Never heard of it.
Nope. Never heard of it.
Bullshit.
I'm
It's a
serious.
film about really. I find that surprising. It's a
I
film
mean, maybe
about
when you mention it, no, like, go ahead.
uh do, 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 do. It's
Uh,
she's like some kind of art student or something who's living her life, and she's
how dare
like
she?
she meets this girl in a bar or something. I don't know. I've watched only parts of it. You'll understand why.
Yeah.
Uh, she finds some girl. I don't know. She's got like some interest, like problems in her life, or she's not happy.
Wait,
She meets this
what
girl
was
who
its
like
name?
blue is the
Blue.
warmest color. And she meets this girl in a bar, and like it opens her up not just sexually, but like uh,
Oh, it's a
to
lesbian
life in
movie.
general. It is.
Yeah.
They
Of
have a
course, she knows
9 minute.
this
Okay, so
movie.
that's what the scene is. It's about exploring who you are, and finding joy in life. That's what the film is about essentially.
Yeah.
So why do they need to have a 9 minute, like almost thin line X-rated graphic cut lovemaking scene between the two girls?
See, I
That's
think
I
that's
shit you not, like almost 9 minutes or over 9 minutes. Like you need to put that in your movie, then you know what? Your movie sucks. Because that's the only thing people are tuning in to watch is that sex scene and
I
the
think
other
that's
sex scenes
the
before and after.
I think that's the I mean, in that case, and having never seen, but I would guess that's the kind of artsy fartsy, like, oh, sex is
Yeah.
beautiful, and it represents this and that, and they're going like they're thinking, wait, it's like watching a painting and like, oh yeah, and it's like of a nude model or something, and they go way into depth, and all your things, yeah, okay, yeah, there's somebody
All right.
nude on a chair there, kind of, or you have the pervy side of Hollywood that just like it's like, oh hey, here's a chance to have two
Apparently, it was a comic.
women naked, let's go, kind of thing.
Oh, was
It's
it
also, I
a
feel
book
like
or a
some of it
comic?
is also when it's around the age of like 15, 16ish, where they're allowed to watch more adult movies now without going full on, oh, they're X-rated or 18 movies, where it's just like, yeah, we have sex in it, and it's kind of like to lure in the teenagers of like, hey, there's sex in here with this hot piece of ass, why don't you come and have a look? And then you get fooled into a rom-com, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I sit back and when I watch these scenes play in a video, or I mean in a movie, I sit there and like what am I supposed to be feeling here? Like, I came to watch like Super Mario Brothers. I don't need to see a 3-minute scene of
Like,
Peach and Mario,
yeah, no.
discovering their love for each other and kissing and holding hands and
Like,
like,
I get it if
am I
it
supposed to
like
be aroused? Is that what you're trying to do? Is trying to
if it
give me like
starts with
an
a kiss
erection?
and you like and you see him, but like an entire like long sex scene, yeah, that's just like
See, that
yeah,
doesn't even have to be long. It can be like just like 30, 40 seconds, but it's like, okay, I get it. They're going to make out. Like, do we have to
yeah,
see it?
like
Like,
like
can't you just like fade to black or cut to the next day?
yeah,
Like,
no.
we actually have to see it. Like, I mean, okay, I get to see the girls' TTs, so that's cool. But I mean, like, what am I supposed to be feeling here? Like, because I'm most likely watching this movie in a theater when it's premiering, surrounded by strangers. Are we all supposed to have erections at this point, or something, or go
I
out and
think,
bang our
but I
wives,
also feel
or
like let's in general like
These are 7
there's
minutes.
is that all?
It's
Uh,
7 minutes long.
but I feel like it's like everything with art and everything. There's a lot of ways to do it wrong, and there's ways to do it right, and you know,
well,
I feel like
here's the thing.
oftentimes it just like for me it's just like okay, yeah, sex scene, whatever, and then I just wait until the next scene. Like it doesn't do anything for me, but it kind of like it's like okay, if it's like a romantic movie or something like that and they have a sex scene in it and it's like okay, they finally have to have that moment together, and if the chemistry between the actors is good, you kind of get that like oh yeah, they're sharing a moment of passion, and you know but it does stretch that kind of like awkwardness after a while where it's like yeah, okay, yeah, I get it, yes. But
Yeah,
once you're like
that's
I
the
get it,
thing.
let's move on now. I
That's basically what I'm getting at. Is like, I get it if two characters are gonna make out, and I don't mind seeing the start of it. But if it carries on, basically it just becomes. And I'm not saying this because
yeah,
I'm a prude or anything. God knows
yeah,
I'm
no,
not a
no,
prude.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
No,
it
it is.
feels unnecessary to me. Like, I'm not sure like why, unless your job is to make sexploitation movies. Like, what was that French director who's got like 1,000 of them out?
Oh yeah, I know. I don't remember the name, but I know who you're talking about.
Like, if that's your thing, that's fine. But like when I'm watching like a
Yeah, or just sometimes. Most of the times, I feel like it's just here's some eye candy for you, and it's that old thing of like the same way, and like sex sells, but it's kind of the same way where like Ubisoft and everything like was like, oh no, people don't want female protagonists, so it's kind of like, no, we don't mind. We just want good protagonists.
I mean, you got to think about it this way too. Uh, a lot of these films you can watch nowadays, you watch in the privacy of your own home. That's a little different. If you want to get to the spicy scene, that's fine. But like, for the longest time, a lot of these films that have these raunchy scenes in them were played in theaters, and at the time,
Yeah.
Yeah,
until it came out on VHS, you had to watch it in the theater. So is that the director's intention when I'm watching Basic Instinct in the theater? Is to sit there and get an erection with like 40 other males inside the theater? Like, what is the director trying
I
to
mean,
tell me to do here?
Gannon would be into it, but
What the fuck?
Yeah, essentially, it feels unnecessary. And now, with what Gannon brought up, James Bond, that's a little different because James Bond is written as
A
a
womanizer.
womanizing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what
a
I was saying.
womanizer.
That's why I brought it up. I was thinking of like what movies do actually use sex scenes in a plot positive way, I guess is one way to put it. And I would
but
say
I
the
also
James
feel like
Bond movies do it because it's like it doesn't go too far with it, and it shows
it
enough that
just
it's
shows
like
that it's gonna happen,
it's
and you see the afterward or the
well, no,
afterwards where they
like
kiss.
even in James Bond there is some like actual sex scenes, but it's not like full on. You can
Yeah,
see all everything going on. It's like tastefully done, I would say. Um,
yeah.
but the whole point of it is that it's supposed to get you invested into what's happening, and that he is like getting this connection going
Getting it.
with this woman that he essentially just can't get attached to, even if he wanted to. He literally cannot because his work doesn't allow him to.
Like
Like
I
that's the
feel
whole
like
point of it. Is that
I
it's
feel,
showing to the viewer like this sex scene is happening, and you're
yeah.
like a normal person would be getting attached or at least feel something in this situation, but he can't. Like that is the
I feel
part
like
is part of the
yeah.
character that you're being shown, because obviously later on she fucking dies, or like he has to abandon her or whatever. It's like it lends into the plot that way.
I feel like the start of a sex scene and the end of a sex scene kind of makes sense because it's kind of shows you either what's gonna happen or what happened, you know. But it's the in between part that is just
But again,
like
it's
Toshi
like
says, like, what am I supposed to do with this apart from yeah, nice eye candy?
agreed, but at the same time, it's like I'm not going to say that a director can't do it, because ultimately it's their
Oh no.
artistic vision, and if they've got a legitimate reason behind it, then fair enough, fuck it, go ahead. Like it doesn't
I
have
mean, you
to.
already paid them, so you
Like
might as well.
it must appeal to somebody. It doesn't have to appeal to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
So maybe like in that fucking the blue is the
It's
something color, whatever it is. Like if you would ask the director, I'm sure they'd probably have a reason for it. It might be a
but it's
silly
like
reason, but it's like
yeah,
it's just
it's a
because we
talk
don't
show
understand
bullshit.
it. You
Like,
know?
oh, and I hear you have a laugh scene in this one. Ooh, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and suddenly
Well, the
either
thing is,
certain people in the
movies
crowd are interested.
movies since their inception have always been about fantasy, telling stories
Yeah.
that entertain you,
I mean, they're an artistic
and
expression, whatever way you look at it.
they are. And when you have the old 20th century way of thinking, you have the leading man, and it did progress a bit into the 21st century as well. But you have the leading man, and when you have somebody like Indiana Jones or James Bond, all right, you see them making out with a woman, getting ready to have the big time sexy thing that I've only heard about. What happens is you create that fantasy for men and women, men who want to be him and women who want to be with him. It helps enhance that fantasy.
Yeah.
That's why they have love scenes in there, because then you can like think in the back of your mind like, ooh, like, oh, so that's what he's like
Hey,
kissing.
hey,
Ooh, is that what
hey.
his that's what his chest looks like. Okay, I might use that for my spank bank tonight. I don't know. But my problem is when they go 35 40 seconds with hardcore, slapping hips against butts, and it's like, well, you've already made your point, so is this extra really necessary? That's my problem with sex scenes in movies in general, whether they're from the 70s, 80s, 90s, or the 2010s, the 2020s. It doesn't matter when. But it feels like because they've been done so much that as the years progress, the sex scenes have to keep pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable to a general audience, because you've seen it all before. So unless you've got like a really hot guy that all the girls want to see, or you have a really hot girl that all the guys want to see, you have to push the boundary. Because let's look at it. Basic Instinct, you had Sharon Stone, who was at the time a sex what do they call it? What do they call it? A sex symbol.
Yeah.
But then you had her going against Michael Douglas, who was like 20 years her age and not sexy in at all the slightest. So what do? You just amp up the sexing. You make them sex harder, and you make it more graphic without actually showing penis going inside, vagina.
Whoa. Is that even on? See, I feel like it's more like, at least these days, it's more aimed towards the quote unquote young adults. It's like, you know, they're they can watch a movie, but they still gotta be kind of secret about when they're spanking it. And if it's like, oh hey, sex scene, it's like, hey, hey, hey,
So
yeah,
when I
here
went,
we go.
if I were to go sit down in the theater to watch Blue is the Warmest Color,
No,
is
I'm
there
not
is there
necessarily
like an
talking theater.
I know, but I am.
Yeah,
Is there going to be like a plastic bag in front of me that I can use during the hot scenes?
yeah, it's called popcorn.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, is that not what the director kind of wants me to do?
No,
We don't
no,
know.
you're
It'll
right.
not
No,
be, but
Like I said, it's gonna be artsy fartsy
So
stuff. I just like,
that
yeah.
7-minute sex scene. That's just for
I mean,
They
giggles.
all
that's
all
the thing
probably
is,
think it's artistic. It's
yeah,
like people
like
dancing naked. Oh, I'm showing like my true self, and blah 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 blah.
we
And most people are just like, no, you're just dancing naked.
in this specific movie, I feel like it's a difficult one to argue because what it could have been literally just like the director could have just said, there's so many long unnecessary sex scenes for straight people, so I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna make people watch a lesbian one, like as a sort of like a protest, maybe. Like, if you think you're uncomfortable about watching, or think you're fine with these sex scenes in movies, then you should be fine with this one, kind of thing. Like a challenge on
Yeah,
homophobia, maybe. I don't know. That's just a guess. I don't know what the
there's
intention was.
there's a lot of different reasons. I think A, it's sex sells. B, it's like targeting younger people that are kind of just like starting to awaken their sexuality, kind of playing into those, and just like artsy fartsy stuff. It's like, oh, but it
Gannon,
represents this and this and this.
that second clip
Yeah.
is a film that was released in the theater for general audiences with a warning to watch because it was a full-on Hollywood production.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to get out of that?
I mean, because I keep thinking about
I
Eyes
mean,
Wide Shut.
at looking at this scene, because this is way like the one in the lesbian movie is not anywhere near that. Like that is
No,
full.
because
That is
it doesn't
full
show
on porn.
the genitals.
Yeah, like that. The other one can be argued as being tasteful. It is a bit long, but it's still kind of tastefully done. This one is full on porn. Like,
Well, I would say that it being long in the first place
sure,
makes it
but you know what I
untastefully
mean.
done.
But you know what I
Do we
mean.
need to see the two girls orgasm 3 different times? I've counted,
Mhm.
by the way,
Mhm.
multiple times.
Fucking Christ! But like this one is like this is full on. This
It's
is
the
literally
same thing. It's
this.
just they're showing
This is
the
like yeah,
genitals.
that is literally a porn movie. Like that is
Yeah,
there's no argument against like that.
but it wasn't intended to be a porn movie. That's my problem.
But personally, like I don't.
They were just trying to show Caligula like as it really was, which it wasn't anything like that. But if it was, I want to go back there, but it's not.
I feel like
But they were just it was all done for shock because it's an artistic vision.
what's the country of origin for that movie?
Let me look it up.
Because I have noticed that like for example, a lot of French movies tend to have
Oh yeah,
tend to be very open about their sex scenes, and it's
yeah.
perfectly
But
normal
it's
because
perfectly
it's
normal. Yeah,
yeah
yeah.
because it's a cultural thing. So maybe it is just a cultural difference. Is
Like
that
in Europe, a pair of titties and everything like that is,
yeah like
yeah,
yeah
nothing
exactly like
special.
our movies over here we like yeah titties is totally chill.
Like even we even have them in commercials. Like
Yeah. Like whereas in America, people would freak the fuck out. But
yeah,
It was produced in Italy,
yeah.
yeah. I could see that was
and
that's
released in Italy and the United States. But I don't know if it was made by an Italian company. No, it was made by an American company.
okay, but produced in Italy
They filmed it in Italy, yeah.
or an Italian audience.
I don't know. It's kind of
No,
vague.
that's
Because it could have
that's
just been like, oh well,
there's entire documentaries about that movie.
oh, okay.
So it's yeah, it's a weird. It's just like there's a reason it's a cult classic. It's just like,
Uh,
how did this ever get made, and what was like? It's just like an
well,
entire thing.
this helps explain it, Funky. Remember the guy I was trying to think of, the French director, Tinto Brass.
Yeah,
That's his name. Who did all those sexploitation movies?
yeah.
He was the director of this film.
Mhm.
That explains quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, good on him.
Want
Yeah,
that job.
yeah. This is a porn movie. It's not a.
Yeah, it's like this. There's just like some of it is just like
This is
first being perfect. Like
It's
not right,
literally a
but then
porn
like,
movie that
yeah.
they managed to convince people to release in the
Let's say
cinema.
let's say you're a director, and let's say you're a director, and you're kind of like, hey, the lead I have is kind of hot, and I have a sex scene, like, they're willing to do it. Why not make it a lot? Oh, sorry, yeah, we need to shoot all of this and make it longer. Like, obviously, there's there's some people like I can see doing that. It's just like more for their own, like they'll keep the B-roll and everything like that, kind of thing. Just like being proper
Yeah,
perverts and inappropriate and
yeah,
everything like
definitely.
that.
I definitely think there was
Yeah,
an element of we're gonna basically shoot a porno because we can.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
definitely exploitation of the
yeah.
actors and actresses here. That's certainly
I think that's
certainly an
part of it.
element of
Not,
that.
not definitely not all of it, of course, and everything like that. But
No, like
there's a
yeah.
reason why the Me Too movement happened in Hollywood.
Yeah. Like this shit, you would never be able to get this shit to fly outside of a porn, like an actual porno production.
Oh, or a European
These
one,
days.
or a European movie.
Well, I didn't mean to take over the podcast there with my question. So before we continue, let's get to Gannon. Gannon, unless anyone has anything else to say. Gannon, what have you done this week?
Apart from looking at Caligula porn.
And Blue's the Warmest Colored porn. You're welcome, by the way.
It's not really my kind of thing, to be honest.
Not enough butts.
I'm way too. I think it's probably because I'm just too desensitized or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So what did you do this week since we last talked?
Fuck all. I've had a very productive week of doing the same shit I've been doing for the
waiting
past
for your wife to cook you a meal.
all right, fucking Christ. I can't even argue it. It's the worst part. Motherfucker.
I mean, from everything I'm told, she's very good at it. So I can't blame
True.
you.
Very true. No, I've just been I've just been playing the usual shit. I've had a very, very boring week, to be honest. Very slow week. I've just
Any
been
news
dying.
you want to comment
Just been
on?
fucking dying from the heat, like everybody else.
Yeah. It's definitely Sunday. God damn it.
Well, we're finally going to hit 3 digits this weekend coming up, or in the mid to high 30s for you guys.
We're finally getting a Canada smoke light over, so I'm hoping that kind of blocks out the sun a little bit.
I mean, we had a. I mean, it was hitting the 30s last week, and then we had a thunderstorm roll through, and it dropped by 10 degrees, which was nice. And it's kind of a little bit chillier. Like, it's not chilly, but it's still like maintaining a little bit tolerable heat at the moment. But it's gonna end up
it's
fucking
22
ramping up again.
here-ish, but like Sunday it was 34.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
So it's just like, just like this week it's mostly just gonna be like, I think the highest we're gonna get is like 23 or something like that.
It still pisses me off when the temperatures get high over here in like our countries, and then you hear people from like America, especially,
Or
who are like,
Australia.
"Oh, it's just that. Oh, you're so weak. How can your shit like not tolerate it?" It's like we don't have aircon, motherfucker. And
partially, yes, but
and our structures are not built to withstand this kind of heat.
no, and we're also just not we're used to living in this temperature, so
Yeah, like we're used to.
if I hear somebody from Scandinavia who's like, "Oh my god, it just hit 30 here," I'm fucking melting and I'm dying, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, 30
Yeah.
is definitely hot, but it's not." But then if you're in like Spain or Greece or something like that, 30 is regular. Or if you're like in Morocco,
And they're
it
used
just
to it.
depends on what you're used to. Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm going to put out a worldwide bulletin right now. All right.
Okay.
From one American, that's me, to all the Europeans out there. All right.
That's me.
I'm going to give you guys a heads up. We fucked this planet up. The world's only going to get hotter from this point on. Get some fucking aircon. And if you don't have it by next year, it's on you.
We've got
there is a
aircon
chance. There is a
installed, but it
chance we
doesn't
might
work
go
anymore.
back to an
We need
ice
to get
age
it
because
replaced.
of global warming. So there
God,
is
I
hope.
hope.
There is
Not
hope.
my lifetime.
I mean, it's going to suck for this. It's going to suck when we have no food. But
No,
I mean, I could lose some weight.
the ice age can happen very quickly.
Like I said, it's going to suck when we don't have food. But I could do. I feel
Funky.
better in the cold than I do the heat.
It can happen very quickly, but like on a timeline that would be far outpacing.
No.
Yes.
No.
Like we wanted to experience an ice age in our fucking lifetime.
We can literally start seeing like if the I think it's the Atlantic Ocean, if the warm water stream there cools down, like it could take 10 years. Now, I'm not talking like ice age that we're thinking of, like, oh, here's the mammoths and everything like that, but the proper start of an ice age.
Yeah, the
Well, I don't know
start
about
of an
you
ice
guys.
age, but like
I don't know about you guys.
It wouldn't like fully like you just said, it wouldn't be like the mammoths fucking returning within our
Look,
lifetime.
I don't know about you guys, but I've got an ice age scheduled for tomorrow evening, so get ready. But Funky is right. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be like tomorrow. All of a sudden, you open your window, and there's like 5 feet of snow or 3 meters of snow. But what's going to happen is, remember back when was it, the 1300s or something?
Mm-hmm.
There was some kind of solar activity from our sun, and it basically dropped the average temperature of Earth down by, I think it was like 1 to 3 degrees, just 1 to 3 degrees. And those few degrees, all right, caused worldwide starvation and the death of a lot of animals, which led to starvation and crop failing and all that. And that's only 1 to 3 degrees. So if the oceans, which are already fucked, by the way, that's what they're teaching in colleges these days.
Yeah.
Like, there's no hope for everything in the oceans are going to be dead within the next 30 years.
Like
if we continue the way we are right now.
Mount Vesuvius, when that, obviously, it killed off the entire city there. But like Mount Vesuvius, I think, not dropped the entire planet by a couple of degrees, or like 2 or something like that, and the entire, like, for the next 2 or 3 years, like in the surrounding areas, so like Egypt and everything, like the crops were fucked, where they could, like, if they were lucky, they got like 40% of usual, just because of the impact of that.
Yeah, so if what Funky is saying is going to happen, which potentially can happen, the oceans are going to get cold. They're going to be Arctic temperatures, which means very little is going to survive in there. There goes your fishing industry. All right, so you with your fish and chips, out. You're fucked. So and it's just going to fall like dominoes from that point on.
Yeah,
and within maybe 50, 60 years.
Keeps longer than the warm stays close, so it's going to be harder and harder to grow crops and everything like that.
Yeah. So within the next 50, 60 years, you're basically looking at like diminished returns on all food products. And those days where you're complaining that, oh, back in my day when we hit summer, it was like 32 degrees and it was hot. Now we can't get above 20. And another 10 years upon that, another 10 years upon that, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. 100 years from now, it could very well be snowing in the middle of July.
Yeah. It's once
not
you're
to depress anybody out there, but fuck y'all, I won't be here for it. So fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, we've already, and not officially on the podcast, but we've already established that a lot of us are gonna sunset ourselves if the inevitable.
Actually, no, I'm pretty sure that was just you.
What a weird.
I mean, like I said, I grew up in the cold. I mean, Chicago's not like the Arctic, but
oh no, I'm just talking zombie
I
apocalypse.
grew up in like
general,
minus 40 degree weather. So because the cold there can get really ridiculous.
Because you don't have
I'm okay with it. So I'm okay with it. What I don't like is the fact when I go to the supermarket to pick up my stuff for food for the week or month, that the only thing that's gonna be available is cauliflower.
Oh yeah, that would be horrible.
That would be horrible.
Yeah.
So
Just cauliflower
like
on
I
a
said,
regular day is already horrible.
I'm a Gen Xer. I'm already up there in the years. I'm not quite a boomer, but I'm Gen X. I'm
No,
already up there. In my
mentally.
lifetime, this shit's not going to happen. But for anyone who's having children now, because we got to have children because we need poor people on this earth. Because if we don't have the people on the earth, the infrastructures that we're building will fail, which is complete bullshit. But
Yeah.
what do I know? I'm not Elon Musk. That said, 8 billion people, this planet cannot hold that many people. It does not have resources for 8 billion people. And what's going to happen is when we hit 9 million, billion with a B as in boy, when we hit 9 billion, which is happening even faster, what was it? We went from 6 to 7 million or billion. We went from, it took us like what, 50 years or something to
Well,
go
I
from
mean,
6 to 7.
that
But
does
from
make
from
sense,
7
though.
to 8, it took us less than half the time.
Yeah.
It's going to take us even less time to go from 8 to 9. And our planet does not have enough natural resources. There are countries around the world right now that are running out of well water, running out of fresh water, and they're reduced to
There's
using
already wars going on about water.
exactly. And we need to have more children. We need to have more children. No, you need to fucking calm down. All right,
Just
put
look
your
at
willy away.
Ethiopia, what they want to do
Get
with
your
their
wife off her back.
with the
All
Nile.
right. We don't need those people who have 9 fucking children. All right, because you guys are the ones who are ruining the fucking planet.
Yeah.
Did I say that out loud?
No,
Yeah, you
you're
do.
right. You're right. I agree. I do.
So anyway, Gannon, what did you do this week?
Well, nothing. We've established. That.
I contributed
Gannon?
to saving the planet by not having a child.
Well, you saved us more than you think.
Yeah.
God forbid we need 2 Gannons in this world.
Oh, fuck off.
I don't have much news this week either. But I will say this. As of right now, which is United States time, Pacific time, 10:45 a.m., which is what, 7:45 your time, both?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Let's go with it.
Almost
It's
quarter to 8.
quarter to 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Wednesday,
My dudes.
at the time of this recording, again, June 28th or the 28th of June, we have 1 day, exactly 23 hours and 45 minutes from this recording before Steam Summer Sale begins.
Why does he do this? Why does he have this setup for one line and it lasts 10 minutes? I don't understand how he manages this shit.
Look, he's trying
It's a gift.
to get the people excited.
It's not a gift.
What could it be?
It's a
What
curse.
could it be? Maybe it's a new release. Maybe it's
I am just making
the UFOs being.
I'm making it. No, they're called UWPs now.
Oh, okay. Is that a new wrestling organization?
Yes.
Okay.
Hulk Smogan is in it.
Yeah, not the official one, hopefully.
But yeah, Summer Sale begins tomorrow for anyone interested.
Well, considering I'm gonna probably be buying my new graphics card next week, I don't think I'm gonna be
Really?
buying a lot.
So does that mean that there's a Elden Ring gameplay coming up soon? Possibly?
It's on the list. And
Potentially?
there's a lot of shit I still gotta play. I still gotta play through Red Dead as well. So,
Yeah, but Red Dead you can play on your own.
Yeah. I mean, I want to do Elden Ring on my own as well first, and then we can co-op it.
All right, so it'll be 2025 before we get to
Yeah,
it.
yeah, something like that.
Christ.
Speaking of Red Dead, for anyone who mods out there, I'm actually thinking of reinstalling Red Dead because the modders have been going crazy with Red Dead lately, and for a single player game, so one of the biggest mods out there right now is a game that adds like 120 something bounties, actual NPCs that you can go and kidnap, bring back to jail to get money. They have some of them have their own stories and stuff from what I've heard, what I read anyway. It gets pretty in depth. But now a new one just dropped, which I'm actually trying to find right now. That's why I'm taking so long to get to the point. Sorry for everyone.
Sorry, Ken.
I'm trying to find it. But essentially what it does, it adds. Try that again.
Eggs?
It adds like
It has. Yeah.
something like, I'm trying to remember the number, and I could have this number wrong, but I know it's a high number. Something like 30 new POIs to the game that have bandit hideouts, and it's completely customizable. So you can have like places that you found in the game before can now be a bandit hideout that'll have, campfires, stagecoaches, or they'll be in a cave. It'll look like littered, like they were living there, not just like 10 random NPCs just spawn in. That you can actually take out and have gunfights with. But you can also go and hire companions to join you to help take those guys out. And it comes with a plethora of different settings. You can actually turn them into zombies. And the article I was reading last night
What?
was, yeah, you can turn them into zombies because of Red Dead Redemption 1's zombie
Nightmare,
DLC.
Yeah, Nightmare,
That,
something like
yeah,
that.
Nightmare something or something Nightmare. You can turn them into zombies and only headshots kill them. And you can turn that on. And if you don't actually eradicate them, supposedly, I haven't tried the mod out myself, but I'm thinking of reinstalling Red Dead just to try this out. You can actually have it to where the zombies will actually leave the camps and spread out and start taking over the towns. And you actually have to kill them and fend off the towns.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'm looking at all the mods right now for Red Dead 2, and it looks like they went pretty fucking, crazy with this shit. I'm thinking of reinstalling it just to try out these mods.
It is
Not
kind
to
of
play the whole
wild.
game again.
It is
No.
kind of wild what modders can do these days with games. Like, it just seems to be no matter what game it is, you give modders enough time to do their shit, and they can come up with some absolutely
And you allow
crazy
them.
in-depth stuff.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. This is part of the reason I brought this up. Excuse me. Because I've been keeping up to my Starfield news lately. And in Todd We Trust, Todd Howard himself said that just like
It'll be a modder's paradise, I think was the quote, wasn't it?
yes, that Starfield is going to be a modder's paradise. And more so, I read up on exactly what he was talking about. He went a little more in depth into it, but that was the main quote: was it's a modder's paradise, where it has more moddable accessibility than both Skyrim and Fallout 4 combined.
I mean, that's just smart of them to do that because they know what their player base is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at this point, it's really like a shock.
That pretty much means that I
Public
already know
Star
people
Wars.
are talking about it. They're going to take the entirety of Skyrim and put it on a planet.
Not too sure about that one.
Well, exaggerating, of course. Obviously, it can't be done because the planets aren't that big. But
No, I mean more from a legal perspective.
You could do
it's
it.
mods.
They all
It's mods.
no,
do
but
whatever
they
they
also
want.
no, but they also try to make I think link up Fallout 3 with Fallout New Vegas, and that got shut down.
Yeah, but that's to do
So
with New Vegas being an Obsidian.
no. That was just literally like, oh, you wouldn't if you installed this, you wouldn't have to own. You would only have to own one of the games.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you can put Skyrim into, I'm sure they could do it into stuff. You wouldn't be allowed because then you wouldn't have to buy Skyrim. That's the reason.
Well, the
But-
thing is,
but aren't they remaking Oblivion in Skyrim? Right now.
no, they're remaking Oblivion in Fallout, or not Fallout, Unreal 5, and they're basically making it like next gen, like they did with Half-Life 1. But the difference there, Funky, is like you can put like The Witcher in Fallout. You can put Lara Croft in Fallout. But the thing was, they were actually putting like one entire game into
Yeah, it was
another. Whereas when I say they're putting Skyrim into Starfield, I don't mean they're putting all the quests and all the gameplay and all the NPCs. But what they're doing is they're basically like putting the map of Fallout in
No,
there.
no.
But
I get you.
they could potentially do that though, where they put like if they were working on it long enough, they could probably put the entirety of Skyrim, including all the quests.
Just take
And
Elder Scrolls and put it in
yeah, pretty
there.
much. But
Well, ESO.
the point is though that they're basically making it to where you can almost do anything and everything if you're a skilled modder with Starfield. So that alone makes me extremely giddy.
No, good
Yeah.
for you.
But I didn't
Uh,
mean to turn this up. I didn't mean to bring this up for Starfield.
but
I meant to bring it up for Red Dead 2
Yeah,
for the
no, for modding. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it is a
yeah.
fair point. Yeah.
it's related though. I mean, you can't really talk about mods without thinking of the one of the most moddable games out there.
Starfield has been ruining me because that's all I want to play right now. And I don't want to play anything else. I've got Hitman 3 installed. I'm ready to play that.
Well,
I
my
want
hope
to
is
play
You still have
I don't
Midnight
know.
Sun to play.
I don't know
I
how the
know, and
engines work.
well, I'm not playing those because of my controller right now.
Oh,
Now,
true.
yes,
Right.
I can put my 360 controller back up. I can get a cable and hook up my new beautiful Starfield, Xbox controller up. But the thing is, I wanted to play with my Starfield controller wirelessly, and because I can't do that right now, it's kind of ruining the mood.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So that's why I'm not playing Judgment or Elden Ring right now. But once I do get that $50, fucking ridiculous, $50
Add on.
wireless adapter, I'm back to playing Judgment and I'm back to playing Elden Ring.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Oh,
God,
it is.
this is such a sexy controller. I want to fuck it so bad.
Is Fallout 76 on the same engine as the rest of?
Yeah, that's why it had all
Yeah.
the bugs carry over.
Yeah.
So in theory, there's no reason why Starfield you couldn't like make that multiplayer then. 'Cause
Well,
that was
here's the
running on
thing.
the same engine.
Starfield is not using the creation engine 1.5 that 76 was
It was
using.
already being created while Fallout 76 was
Right. They're
right.
using the creation engine 2.
Okay.
And this is the first game that's going to show it.
And they didn't think to put any sort of co-op into that new engine.
No.
They never do.
Yeah.
Why would they start now?
Because they know there's
the
a
game
fucking
is already
audience for it.
the game is already look.
Yeah, but they got shit for it on 76. Now, obviously, that's for entirely different reasons, but we all know Todd Howard and company like to have blinders on where it's like, no, it's because of this one thing. It's definitely not because we rushed it and put an
All right,
entire
look.
studio in place.
Either
Look,
way,
all right,
either
hold on,
way.
hold on.
If they managed it with an older engine, then I've got hope that the modders will be able to like figure something out.
Yeah, you can
All right,
co-op
hold on.
and
I want
Skyrim,
to
I
be
believe.
fair here. I want to be fair here. All right. With
Yeah, it's
Starfield,
junk.
they have said multiple times that there's reasons why people don't release games like this, or at least too often, because they basically put everything in the goddamn game, and because of that, they have so many different systems that are running the game and making it work as it is, from the combat to the space combat to the space exploration to the on foot exploration, the
It's
quest
very
system.
back end heavy, yeah.
All right, it's already so back end heavy, and you want on top of that, let's just throw co-op on there while we're at it. Let's go. No, because this game would still be in development for another 2 years. Now, Digital Foundry did a hardcore extensive look into the game because I guess they got a playable demo or something from Bethesda, and they were looking at why is the game 30 FPS, and when they were playing the game and doing it, and you can check out the video on YouTube, they put an extensive video up on why the game is 30 FPS. They said Bethesda made the smart move of locking it at 30 FPS, because if they did not, this game would probably crash a lot for a lot of people who are trying to hit 60 or over, because this game is so fucking extensive. Now, I'm not trying to turn this into a 30 for 60 FPS debate, but what I am saying is that if they had to lock it at 30, and if they already had to put basically permanent stops on certain aspects of the game, of the mechanics, because of the game's engine and what they're trying to achieve in this one game, You're lucky you got what you did right now, let alone getting co-op.
I
That's
don't
all I
know,
gotta
man. This game better blow me the fuck away then, because it just sounds like excuses from without playing the game. Like, just simply
I
hearing like,
mean, the
oh,
30,
we
the
had
30
to,
FPS,
we had to limit
the
it at
30,
30, otherwise things would break. It's just like that
that's only
doesn't
for
sound great
console,
to
right?
me.
That's only
Yeah,
for console, right?
only for
Yeah,
console.
yeah.
For PC, you can push it to
Like
60 or higher.
they've been promising 60 FPS since the PlayStation 4 and Xbone, and we still don't get it. So I've kind of it's more the norm of
Never
not
make
getting.
promises. Never make
It's more of the
promises.
norm of not getting 60 FPS than getting a title that actually runs at 60 FPS. So
Never
at least
make
for the
promises.
big budget ones.
Because no matter how hard you are on trying to achieve that promise, that you would sell your own mom to make that promise happen,
If it fails once,
life
you,
gets in the way each and
yeah,
every time.
yeah. Like it sucks.
Uh,
I feel like like it's partially optimizing, but like I don't want to say it's all right because it kind of isn't. But it is. It sadly is to be expected from console games these days.
I'm just
That
gonna
is still
rename.
just the
I'm gonna
norm.
rename this podcast to Starfield Waiting Room until it's because apparently that's
I mean,
the main thing we talk about.
well, we're moving off Starfield, but I do want to bring up something. Did you guys read and follow up on the Phil Spencer FTC courtroom
no,
drama?
No.
no.
All right, so
I know
here's
it
basically what
was
happened.
coming up, but I haven't looked into it yet.
The FTC is questioning in court Phil Spencer on how buying Activision will not create a monopoly and be an issue. And Phil Spencer basically handed them their asses because the lawyers that are working for the FTC right now, have no clue about the gaming industry.
Oh,
They
I'm
were
fucking
just
shocked.
I know. They were just high-end lawyers. They had no idea what they were defending and were picked from the FTC to try to get to the bottom of what's going on. And essentially, this is what came to light. Phil Spencer went out there and said, look, we're third in place right now in the console wars. And Sony, who's started this whole thing with Jim Ryan, well, he's the head of it, but it's not him. But he's the figurehead, just like Phil Spencer's the figurehead. Basically said that Sony has been buying up and trying to get their hold on a monopoly within the system, within the console system. All right, or not system, but console, world, as you will. Before Microsoft bought Bethesda, Sony was trying to work out a deal with
Oh,
Bethesda
yeah. No, that I've
Yeah.
heard again.
to get Starfield only on Sony, not as a time exclusive, but only
Yeah.
exclusive permanently. And Todd Howard told that in person to Phil Spencer, and that's what when Phil Spencer,
But
pushed that information back.
yeah.
That's what started the whole acquisition of
But
Bethesda.
the issue is not them getting the Activision or the Blizzard part. The thing is them getting the King part and the cloud and somewhat of the cloud technology that they're going to be using with that and they can be using with that entire King staff and everything like that.
Right.
The King part is the problem.
Well, actually, no, it's not. It's Activision problem because Sony is saying without Call of Duty, their sales are going to go down, and they will not
Yeah,
not
no.
give. No, hold on, listen, because I read this. All right, I read the official documents that are available online. I don't want to hear, well, this is what I heard or this is what I thought. No, this is what actually happened. All right, so listen for a second. Sony said they will not give PlayStation 5 dev kits to Activision if Xbox owns them. The problem here is that Sony is trying to buy everything up to solidify their gaming fan base. And Microsoft started to do the same thing, except they went after entire bigger divisions. Activision is much bigger than Bungie. That's why no one swatted, an eyelash when
Yeah,
Sony bought
what
Bungie.
seems to be the case is that basically they saw what Sony was doing, like, oh, well, you're buying up these exclusives. Well, we're Microsoft, so we're gonna show you what we can buy. And then
Yes, but
they basically slammed their big fucking dick onto the table with like their huge fucking backing of having
yeah,
like
that's all
massive amounts
fine.
of
But
money, and they've went after like a huge company, which is
Hold on,
like
go ahead.
Activision
Let
Blizzard.
Funky talk.
if they only wanted Activision and Blizzard, like, okay, Sony might hate that. I understand why Sony, but that's not the problem. The problem legally of the monopoly part is the king part. That's the problem that they're having. Like, hey, wait a minute, because this could impact a whole lot. Like if
Here's
it's
the
just Modern Warfare and fucking World of Warcraft,
Yeah, in
I mean,
terms
it's
of
a big blow, but they wouldn't give a shit.
yeah, in terms of like
It wouldn't. It
the
would have
company
gone
that you're
through.
the company that they're
It would have
buying,
gone through.
like I've seen some of the like the stats from Activision Blizzard and King, in like the past few years. King is what makes them a shitload of money in
Yeah.
comparison to Activision, like the Activision Blizzard side. It
And they
is
have an
not even
entire
a competition.
resource of like years and years of studying their consumers and everything, where they could just like you put that on other teams, and it's like a golden key to like a shit ton of money and a shit ton of data and everything like that that could
Mhm.
be used for that. And that is the danger. It's not the fact that Call of Duty is not gonna be on PlayStation
Okay, so let's
anymore.
get back to reality here for a second. Funky, I need you to do me a favor, and I need you to just listen, please, to your friend, for example, for just a moment, all right? And not all these people, these YouTubers that you don't know. Listen to the guy for just a second. That's all I ask. Just the guy that you've known for 10 years, all right? And
Yeah.
you've talked to almost every day. No, because we did this last week with your fucking wish list, but you decided to throw me under the fucking bus. So listen to me this time. That's all I'm asking. Just listen to me this
Yeah.
time, all right? The issue, according to what they're fighting in the court right now, all right, what the lawyers from the FTC are arguing right now is not King. All right, I know this is surprising, and I know this is gonna blow your mind, and I must be talking on my ass, but just listen to me.
No.
No, listen to me. It's not King. All right, because the fight going on right now is Sony is introducing this fact that Microsoft is going to control the console market. That's where all this stems from. Is that Sony says that Microsoft is going to have a monopoly and a huge hold over the console market, and that other companies like Sony, all right, are going to be put out of business. That's what Sony is fighting for. King is mostly on mobile. All right. Most of their revenue is done on mobile, which has nothing to really do that
No,
much.
but the back
No,
end
no,
of
listen. Just listen. Just listen. And I'll give you a moment to talk. I'll give you a moment to talk. All right. But just listen. Most of the King stuff is done on mobile. All right. That's not what they're arguing in court right now. At least from the stuff the transcripts that I was reading on Sunday at work. That is not what they're arguing right now. They're arguing that Microsoft is going to get a hold on the console market. All right, and Sony is trying to fight that. Although funny enough, Sony was trying to do the same thing before Microsoft bought Bethesda, but that's neither here nor there. The problem is because Call of Duty, the reason why that one always comes back up is it's not the end all be all game, but it is the perfect example that it's a moneymaker and it rakes in millions and millions. And it sells on both consoles. It sells on both Sony and it sells on both Xbox. Now, if Xbox gets it, all right, now they say they will honor and they will let Activision continue to make games for Sony, including Call of Duty. But Sony is saying, no, what's going to happen is if Activision gets it, or if Microsoft gets Activision, then we're not going to give them our dev kits for PlayStation 5. because we don't want them knowing our technology, and that's a problem. And if we can't do that, we can't put Call of Duty on our console, all right, or among other games. But like I said, Call of Duty is the prime example. Now, the flip side to that is Microsoft is saying that Sony was already doing that, and nobody really had a problem with it. The only difference was Sony didn't buy the company; they just bought the game. So is it any different if we do the same thing here? If we buy the company but continue to allow them, and we'll be good. We won't do any inside trader secrets. We won't sneak a peek at the Sony, PlayStation 5 dev kit to see what they got underneath the hood. We won't do any of that because you can trust us because we're Microsoft, right? That's another fear that Sony keeps saying is like, yeah, we can't trust them. We don't know that they're not going to do that. So the issue here is in the console network or console market, excuse me, is that Sony is going to be forced out of being able to get the bigger hits on their system that can continue selling their systems. And as that pushes them out, then no one's going to buy their system, and now they're out of business, i.e., Microsoft has a monopoly. The other thing that they're arguing about is cloud gaming. And this is completely wrong because they're saying if Microsoft, because of King, this is where King comes in. They say because if they get Activision, they get King, and King is big on cloud gaming because of the mobile market, all right, which has nothing to do really with Sony. The problem is NVIDIA owns 70% 70x%. I was like 71, 73. I forget what it is. But they own over 70% of the cloud gaming market right now because they have no competitors really that are fighting with them. All the other competitors are small groups that add up to that other 20x%. So they're saying if Microsoft gets King, they're going to own the majority of cloud gaming. But they can't because NVIDIA already owns that. That's the problem that they're arguing back and forth right now. And Phil Spencer basically sat down and said, no, this is what's happening. This is why we're doing this. Because if we don't, Sony's going to keep buying up exclusives, which you guys are saying we shouldn't be able to do because they're already buying games and having extra levels or maps or whatever put onto them, or timed exclusives where you can only buy it on PlayStation 4 for X amount of months before it comes to whatever. And the fact is that Sony has also been they put a game on PC like Days Gone or Horizon Zero Dawn. They're making revenue off of that, but Xbox or Microsoft in general through Steam, because they have to pay Steam to get the game on there. Microsoft is essentially paying for Sony to put their game on their platform, and then Sony gets 30% of that, and the other 70%, because I can't count. The other 70% is broken up between all these different, companies. Some goes to Steam, some goes to, Microsoft. But the point is that Sony is getting the biggest cut out of that because they should. It is their game, and I understand that. It is their game. They get the biggest cut out of that, and they're making money off of Microsoft already because of that. So that's why they also decided to start buying up these companies. But that's essentially what's happening right now, as according to documents from the court, from the FTC. That's essentially what's happening right now. That's what they're arguing, is that the console market is going to be blown wide open because of Microsoft taking control of everything and Sony not getting anything because they'll be forced out. And on the mobile side, where King is concerned, they'll be raking all that money in from King, but that's really icing on the cake. The FTC is not arguing that right now. They're arguing that with King on their side, Microsoft side, that is, that they're going to have control of the cloud gaming network, but they don't because NVIDIA owns the majority.
Yeah.
Okay, can I respond now?
Hold on, give it another 5 seconds.
Okay.
Fuck's sake. It's been 5 seconds.
Okay, go ahead. Now you can go.
All right. So yes, you are right, and that is what
I love
Sony
hearing that.
is saying. Now, like I said, the threat is that King is very, like you said, is very interested in cloud. Microsoft has its cloud thing, which is, yes, it's still not as big as Nvidia, but the Microsoft one is actually probably really good, up there, or if not better. And if they get access to King with the access that Microsoft has, it can just make the Nvidia thing obsolete and just make it like, oh hey, if you want to do it, here's our cloud gaming, you get it for free and you use ours, and boom. Like they can force their way in to become the mandatory cloud gaming thing. That is the threat.
I don't see
The
that happening at
consoles,
all.
yeah, and they say they won't do it, but
Well, no, because
it's
numbers don't work that way
it's
unless
because
they
they say
acquire.
like it is not possible within the next 10 years. They're saying, oh yeah, no, not in but it is possible that in 20 years they will have that monopoly. That it's people are thinking short term on this, like, oh, it's not going to change within 10 years. Yeah, no, probably not in 10 years, but you got to think in 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years, like what that power and that thing has. That is the quote unquote problem with the deal. The exclusivity is. I mean, I get why Sony is doing it, but and it makes sense. I would fight it too. You try your luck and you shoot your shot. If you don't get it, oh well, you at least you tried. But the problem with the monopoly part of the deal is the king part, because of the risk it could take to cloud gaming. Because let's face it, cloud gaming is probably going to be the next big thing once it properly works, and they can kind of make it so they can have a monopoly on it. The door is open for that. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but the door is open for that. If it's more open for that if they get king than if they don't get king.
I think the issue here is that you think King is going to be the game changer in this, and King's not going to be the game changer in this.
Not king for the cloud, specifically the cloud gaming part of king, not
Well,
king
the
the mobile
cloud
thing.
game, yeah, cloud gaming in
Mhm.
general. I don't
Yeah.
think King is going to be the deciding factor on where cloud gaming
And
goes
I
in the
don't.
future.
I'm just going off of like, and this is more on the UK case than the current FTC case. So I'll hold my hand up for that's the one I know a bit more about than the FTC one.
Because
Because
here's the
that's
problem. Here's the problem with that. All right, you've got 100%. All right, that's 0 to 100 or Z to 100, whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, all right. So right now, Xbox owns. We'll say just for example, Nvidia owns 70. We'll just keep it even, so that even Gannon can follow along.
yeah.
Fuck
All
you.
right, 70%. All right. Uh, Nvidia owns 70% of cloud gaming. Xbox owns 12% of cloud gaming. All right. Just 10, 10, 10.
12 and 12 and a half, and then we can have somebody else.
We'll just say
And
10
then, and
for
then Google Stadia 5%.
great. I'm just gonna round it down. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna round it, for easy for everyone to follow. 70% there, another 10% for Xbox, another 10% for King, another 10% for what was the example you just gave, Funky?
Google Stadia.
Thank you. Yeah, Google Stadia. The one that should have took it all.
Yeah,
All right, Google Stadia. All right, another 10% there. All right, that's your 100% right there.
yeah,
If Microsoft gets or not cloud, King,
yeah.
they now own 20% of the market.
Yes,
They're
yes.
10%, including King's 20% or King's
You gotta.
10%.
I
Right.
understand what you're saying,
Well, no, you don't seem to because you keep thinking
but you
that's the
gotta.
problem.
No. But you
Well,
gotta think of it
I'll
as
just
in
shut up.
no. But let me just clarify my point, and then you can go again. You gotta think of it as kind of like Unreal, where they make it attractive enough where it's kind of a no-brainer to go to Unreal these days. But that gives it's Epic, right? Epic
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
it's not there yet, obviously, but that kind of could lead to eventually Epic having a monopoly on engines kind of thing. It's not guaranteed, but like I said, the door is open for it. So that's kind of what I mean to if it
I
clarified it
get
or
that,
if not.
but that's a little different of a story though. There's different circumstances there. You got because we're looking at a numbers game here with Microsoft, and if they take King, they now own 20%. But
Yes.
that doesn't take anything away from Nvidia, which I do
No.
want to get. I do want to get into something later with Nvidia. I want to ask you
No.
guys
No. No. Yeah.
when this is over.
But
But that said, now
let's
Microsoft
assume.
owns 20%, but
Yeah.
that doesn't give them anywhere
We
near.
should start wrapping up, to be
No.
honest.
No. But the thing is, like Nvidia is the best one right now. Microsoft is not that far away, but Microsoft can more easily make it available to everybody on just, hey, you have Windows, boom, it comes installed with Windows. If you want to play games online, boom, it comes. You got to use what is their new Internet Explorer thingy, boom, you got to play through it. They
Yeah,
can
how well did
more
that work?
easily. No, but I mean they can more easily force it upon people, I guess, in a way, to put it that way, to not make it, versus Nvidia.
And how well did that work for them?
I mean, great.
That is a very
No, that
valid
is
question.
it.
That's a
It
very
worked.
valid question.
It worked great because you keep using Bing.
Really? So all
I
the
mean,
people out there are using Internet Explorer right now,
no,
or
but you keep
whatever the
using
newest
Bing,
one
right?
is.
No, but I'm saying, look,
I mean, it's
I'm
forced on people,
I'm not
right?
saying I'm not saying that's the point people are making about the monopoly. I'm not saying like
Right, but it's
we're not.
wrong because it doesn't work. People are going to do what they want to do. At the end of the day, yeah, they're going to use Windows, but they're going to use Steam to load up their games. They're going to use Firefox or Google Chrome to load up their internet browser. They're not going to follow Microsoft if they do not like it. That's a fact,
Yeah, but
right?
all I'm yes, but the most important part of this is the door part, where it like it leaves the access to the possibility. It can be proven because nobody can go into the future and look, but the
I can't.
possibility is there.
All
Oh
right, you
yeah.
know what? I will give you that, Funky. I will agree with that, but I do need to call on Tribunal. Gannon, what do you
Mhm.
think?
Couldn't
All
give a
right,
shit.
great hearing from Gannon. Moving on.
Yeah. Another
Uh,
great opinion from him.
no, I do get what you're here. I do get before we go back to Gannon because he hasn't
Yeah.
talked in a while, and I'm going to give him a chance to talk. So since we covered a lot, I just want to officially say, Funky, I do agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I think
And
you're
this is
right about that.
and like you said, this is the point of a lot of YouTubers I watch, but that are in the business. So I kind of assume they. I don't want to say because you watch the FTC thing, so full credit there. But they at least know more than me,
True. That's why I was so pushing for you to listen to me on that because I was not
Yeah.
reading through the. I don't know who these these YouTubers are. I don't know if they have hidden agendas or narratives or whatever.
No,
I
no,
was
no, no.
just reading what actually transpired and what's actually being argued. I
Yeah.
still don't think King, even though that's being used for the cloud gaming, that is not a big deal because
That
yeah, I
is.
know I know they're arguing it. I know they're
Yeah.
arguing it. You're not wrong there. Neither are the YouTubers. They are arguing that, but it's basically a moot point because it's all they got. It's really all they got.
Yeah, no. But that is the. I guess the best way to put it. 'Cause since they are fighting for a monopoly, that's the part of the deal, whether it goes through or not. That's the part where it could actually lead to a monopoly. All the rest is kind of like it's like we say, like you said, it always goes back to uh um what is it? Shitty games, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty. That's it. Um, it always comes back to that. But like in comparison to what King brings in, like Blizzard and the whole of Activision combined is like nothing compared to that. So that's fair. And that just to me that's just like, well, make better games and that people want to play instead of Call of Duty and everything like that. Just be creative, But the actual monopoly part is the king part with the cloud gaming is the one where they're kind of like, yeah, this is the one that could cause that. Will it happen? Nobody can say. But that is the most, quote unquote, the most dangerous part of the deal if Microsoft is able to buy Activision. Whether you think it's good or not, like that's the quote unquote threat part.
Okay, Gannon, what do you think? You better
I
make
think-
this good too, because you've been quiet for a while. You better fucking blow people away. Go.
Shut the
Hit it.
fuck up. I think Funky's correct.
All right, moving
I
on.
think
So next thing we're gonna talk
fucking-
about is.
alright,
No,
how do I
I'm
mute
kidding.
this
Go ahead.
asshole?
I'm kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think Funky's correct. I think the King
All right, now we're
acquisition
definitely
is,
moving on. All right. Anyways,
he's such
Go ahead.
a
Go
cunt.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Well, I heard what I needed to hear, so you know.
yeah, I didn't hear what I wanted to hear. But go ahead. Go ahead. Seriously, I won't interrupt anymore.
Everything that was said has already been said. It doesn't matter. We need to wrap this up. It's fucking we're running.
What? You got somewhere to be right now? What is
No,
it?
but we don't want the fucking podcast to be lasting 2.5 fucking hours. Okay.
Why not? You got somewhere else to be?
Shut the fuck
No
up.
one's listening. No one's listening anyway.
Okay.
That's not true. Seth will be listening.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Got at least
Hello,
one
Seth.
dedicated
By the way,
people.
Hi, future Seth. How you
insert
doing?
your opinion about everything here, and then let us know in another call.
I'm sure he'll side with Funky and suck his dick or something.
I mean,
Oh fucking
Look,
Christ.
I'm just talking to the YouTube experts, and you're talking to the actual people. So obviously, I'm the one that's right.
Clearly. Because everyone's a fucking armchair whatever nowadays. But anyway,
Oh, isn't it quarterback or something like that?
armchair
know.
lawyer, armchair game
I
developer,
thought, but
armchair.
isn't the saying like armchair quarterback? Isn't that the saying?
It used to be, but now they just
Okay.
kind of like
Oh yeah.
stopped using that term. Now it's just like armchair lawyering,
Okay. Yeah.
armchair game developing. I'm a
Yeah.
game developer. I wouldn't have done it this way. They don't know what the hell they're doing. A AAA, company. Why is it gotta be 30 FPS? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. All they do is
Stone will
tweak,
be able to.
X amount over here and tweak Y over here, and it
Fucking
would have been
Christ.
done perfectly.
All right. Say goodbye. We're ending it now. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna fucking.
So, one last point. Soon we'll be able to trust Donkey on that because he's now a YouTuber and a
Oh my
publisher or
God.
dev. So
Goodbye,
we
still
will
everyone.
have to trust in him.
We still haven't heard
Say
your side
goodbye.
of this.
No, I'm
Oh,
not giving it. Goodbye. Say bye.
Later, skaters. Have fun in the whatever.
Episode
You can
2
all
is
eat my
done.
ass.
Yeah, fuck
Mm.
you.